Two people press the same green button. Same app, same company, same little chart doing its emotional spaghetti dance. One buys a stock, the other buys a CFD. From the outside, it looks almost identical. That is the problem. Because one person owns a tiny piece of a real business, the other owns a contract with a broker that says, basically, we will settle the difference later. Same stock price, different game. A stock is ownership. If you buy one share of a company, you own a tiny slice of that company. Tiny, yes, but still ownership. If the business becomes more valuable, you may benefit. If it pays dividends, you may receive them. Sometimes you may even vote. You own a piece of the thing behind the line. A CFD is different. CFD means contract for difference. You are not buying the stock, you are making a deal with the broker based on the stock's price movement. If the price moves in your favor, you make money. If it moves against you, you lose money. But you do not own the company, you own the bet. Buying the stock is like buying a tiny piece of a house. Buying a CFD is like telling your neighbor, I bet the house price goes up. That can be a valid trade, but it is not ownership. And this is where leverage enters the room. With many CFDs, you do not put up the full value of the position. You put up margin. Margin is basically a deposit. Instead of paying $1,000 to get exposure to $1,000 of stock, you might put down $200 and still control a $1,000 position. That sounds powerful, and it is. In the same way a chainsaw is powerful. Useful if you know what you are doing. A terrible first toy though. That leaves $800 sitting there looking innocent. And that's the catch. Because many people do not stop at $1,000 of exposure. They think, wait, if $200 controls $1,000, then $1,000 can control $5,000. Depending on the broker's margin rules, that can be true. You did not just free up cash, you just opened the door for more risk. A 20% move is no longer a 20% move on your money. It can become much larger. Good when you are right, ugly when you are not. And there is one more detail people forget. With a real stock, the price can fall 20, 40, even 60%, and unless you sell, you still own the stock. Painful? Yes. Forced out? Usually, no. With a CFD, the broker is watching your margin. If the trade moves against you and your account no longer has enough equity, you can get a margin call or a stop out. That means the broker may close your position automatically. Not because the company went bankrupt, not because the stock went to zero, because your margin was not enough to keep the bet open. So, if you buy $1,000 of stock and it falls 20%, you are down $200. Bad day. But if you use $1,000 as margin to control $5,000 of CFD exposure, a 20% fall is a $1,000 loss. That can wipe out your margin. Same stock, same 20% move, completely different consequences. And the brokers know this. Many CFD brokers are required to show how many retail accounts lose money trading these products. And the number is often ugly. Depending on the broker, you will commonly see warnings saying that around 70 to 80% or more of retail investor accounts lose money when trading CFDs. Not because every person is stupid, because the product is built with leverage, fees, margin rules, and emotions all pulling in the wrong direction. And of course, the missing money did not appear from the kindness of capitalism. You are effectively using borrowed money, and borrowed money has a cost. For CFDs held overnight, brokers usually charge financing. The rate depends on the broker, currency, instrument, trade direction, and market rates. A common structure is a benchmark interest rate plus the broker's markup. In plain English, if you hold a leveraged CFD for weeks or months, the clock is billing you. Quietly, like a subscription you forgot to cancel. And that is before spreads, commissions, currency conversion fees, and the emotional tax of checking your phone every 9 minutes. This is why CFDs can be dangerous for beginners. Not because every CFD is evil. Experienced traders may use them for short-term speculation or hedging. The danger is that platforms can make them look like normal investing. Same company names, same charts, same green and red buttons. But under the hood, the machine is different. With a stock, the question is, do I want to own this business? With a CFD, it is, can I survive the price movement, leverage, margin rules, and financing cost? That is the whole game. And we need to talk about incentives. Brokers are not charities with login screens. Many brokers would much rather have you trade CFDs than calmly buy real shares and leave them alone, because CFDs can be very profitable products. The broker may earn from spreads, commissions, overnight financing, currency conversion, and frequent trading. This creates a conflict. You might want simple, long-term wealth. The broker might prefer you as a frequent, leveraged customer with itchy thumbs. We will talk much more in future videos about brokers, market structure, market participants, incentives, conflicts of interest, and the plumbing behind the shiny app. But for now, remember this. If a broker keeps pushing a product, ask why it is good for them, not just why it looks exciting for you. Now, let's make this painfully clear with a simple 1-year example. These are not universal numbers, just an illustration. Imagine one person buys $1,000 of a real stock. Another person buys a CFD, giving them $1,000 of exposure to the same stock. Assume the CFD financing cost is 8% per year on the full exposure. Real rates can be lower or higher, but 8% makes the cost visible. And to be clear, this is the polite version of the example. We are not even using the full leverage. If someone puts up $1,000 of margin and controls up to $5,000 of exposure, the same 20% stock move becomes a completely different animal. Basically, a roller coaster with fees. Scenario 1. The stock rises 20%. The real stock is now worth $1,200. The CFD also gains $200 from the price move, but financing takes about $80. So the CFD profit is closer to $120 before any other fees. Same price move, smaller result. Scenario 2. The stock falls 20%. The real stock is now worth $800. Painful, but simple. The CFD loses $200 from the price move, and financing still costs about $80. Now the loss is closer to $280 before other fees. The stock fell 20%. Your CFD result fell more than that. Scenario 3. The stock goes nowhere. It starts at $1,000 and ends at $1,000. The stock owner is basically flat, ignoring dividends and fees. The CFD trader still paid financing, so even when nothing happened, something happened. You lost money to time. That is the part beginners miss. CFDs are not just a different way to buy stocks. They are a different instrument with different costs, risks, and incentives behind it. The chart can look identical, the app can look friendly, the button can even say buy. But ask the real question before you click. Am I buying the business? Or am I borrowing money to place an expensive bet on the price?